To celebrate their first year in university, 6 friends went camping in the wilderness. After diving for several hours from the nearest town, they discovered a lagoon nestled beside a cliff, ideal for diving. They set up camp in the woods nearby and spent the evening swimming in the warm, clear water. As the sun sunk below the trees, one of the friends went up to the highest point of the cliff and jumped off, while the other 5 watched. Their laughter slowly subsided as they waited for him to surface. It only took half a minute for them to dive in after their friend. Struggling and spluttering among the reeds in the lagoon, they searched hopelessly for him. Finally, they disentangled themselves and came up, but they never saw their friend again. Heartbroken, they returned to the city and passed a strange and lonely year in which their only solace was the knowledge that they would return to the lagoon in honour of the anniversary of their friend's death. A year passed, and they returned to the lagoon as a memorial. But as they approached, they saw their friend standing there, head bowed. Excitedly, they called to him and began running towards him. But he didn't turn. As they got closer, they called him more desperately, but still to no avail. With joy, they ran towards him, but stopped dead when they saw not 1, but 5 crosses on the waterside.
There was no pearly gate. The only reason I knew I was in a cave was because I just passed the entrance. The rock wall rose behind me with no ceiling in sight. I knew this was it. This was what religion talked about, what man feared. I had just entered the gates of hell. I felt the presence of the cave as if it was a living, breathing creature. The stench of the rotten flesh overwhelmed me. Then there was the voice. It came from inside and all around.
Welcome.
Who are you? I asked, trying to keep my composure.
You know,
the thing answered. I did know. You are the devil, I stuttered, quickly losing my composure. Why me? I lived as good as I could. The silence took over the space as my words died out. It seemed like an hour went by before the response came.
What did you expect?
The voice was penetrating, but patient at the same time. I don't know. I never believed any of this, I uttered. Is that why I'm here? They say the greatest trick you ever pulled was convincing the world you don't exist.
No, the greatest trick I ever pulled was convincing the world that there is an alternative.
What? There's no God? I shivered. The cave trembled with the words,
I am God.
Any day now, she'll say her first words. My wife and I have been playfully betting on what she'll say first, Mama or Daddy. I can hear my wife crooning over and over why she feeds her.
Mama, little girl, Mama loves you so much.
Sometimes she's not even subtle about it.
Say Mama, come on, Mama.
I don't mind it though. I'll still believe I'll win. When we first brought her home, she would scream and cry, and nothing my wife would say would calm her down. But I just knew how to hold her, to help her fall asleep. Our daughter was a daddy's girl. My wife needed all the handicaps she could get. I sit our daughter in her chair, and my wife and I begin babbling like chickens.
Mama, Daddy, say Mama. Who's Daddy's baby?
I pull a gag from our little girl's mouth.
Please, what do you want from me? Please let go.
My wife's smile falls from her face. With a heavy heart, I put the gag back in as the girl starts to scream. I take her back to the room, locking her in and shutting the lights out. When I return, I find my wife crying. "It's okay, honey," I tell her. The next one will be better. I promise. I hate it when my brother Charlie has to go away. My parents constantly try to explain to me how sick he is, that I'm lucky for having a brain where all the chemicals flow properly to their destinations like undammed rivers. When I complain about how bored I am without a little brother to play with, they try to make me feel bad by pointing out that his boredom likely far surpasses mine, considering he's confined to a dark room in an institution. I always beg for them to give me one last chance. Of course, they did at first. Charlie had been back home several times, each shorter in duration than the last. Every time without fail, it all starts again. The neighbourhood cats with gorged eyes showing up in his toy chest, and my dad's razors found dropped on the baby slide in the park across the street. Mum's vitamins replaced by bits of dishwasher tablets. My parents are hesitant now, using last chances, very sparingly. They say his disorder makes him charming, makes it easier for him to make normalcy, and to trick the doctors who care for him into thinking he's ready for rehabilitation. That I will just have to put up with my boredom, if it means staying safe from him. I hate it when Charlie has to go away. It makes me have to pretend to be good until he's back.